We live in a world where striving for perfection is often considered a virtue. But what if this perfectionism becomes a cause of stress, frustration, and procrastination? The Stoics, known for their philosophy of moderation and rational approach to life, knew how to deal with perfectionism. They understood that true perfection lies not in the perfect outcome, but in the effort we put in. In this video, we'll break down how perfectionism can be both your ally and your enemy, and how to find the balance between striving for the best and accepting reality. Part 1. The nature of perfectionism. Why does it arise? Subsection 1. The roots of perfectionism. Perfectionism arises from fear. It can be a fear of judgment, failure, or even success. Stoics such as Seneca said that fears are generated by our thoughts, not reality. Example, Olga, while working on a project, was afraid of making a mistake, so she put it off until the last minute. In the end, she realized that her fears were groundless. Her colleagues appreciated her work despite minor flaws. Tip: ask yourself the question, what's the worst that could happen if I don't do it perfectly? Recognizing unrealistic standards, the Stoics taught us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is beyond our control. Perfectionism often leads us to demand the impossible of ourselves. Example, Ivan tried to please all of his customers, but realized this was leading to burnout. He focused on doing his job well, but within reason. Tip: determine which expectations are truly achievable and which are worth letting go of. Part 2. Perfectionism as a tool for growth. The power of striving for the best. When perfectionism is used correctly, it helps us improve our skills. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Improve every day, but remember that the journey is more important than the goal." Example, Anna, an artist, decided to spend more time on her drawing technique without focusing on criticism. This helped her grow as a professional. Tip: set specific, achievable goals for yourself and measure progress rather than a perfect outcome. Learning from mistakes. Perfectionists are often afraid of making mistakes. Stoics, on the other hand, saw mistakes as part of learning. Example, Dmitri, a programmer, stopped being afraid of mistakes in code. He began to see them as an opportunity to improve his skills. Tip: keep a journal where you write down lessons learned from mistakes. Part 3. The harms of perfectionism, when striving becomes a trap. Subsection 1. Procrastination as a side effect. Perfectionism often leads to procrastination. We are afraid to get started because we want to do everything perfectly. Example, Maria put off writing an article for fear that it wouldn't be good enough. After she allowed herself to start with a rough draft, the work went faster. Tip: start small. Allow yourself to do drafts and don't aim for perfect the first time. Burnout and stress. Excessive striving for perfection is exhausting. The Stoics reminded us that it's important to take care of our internal state. Example, Alexei, a manager, worked 12 hours a day trying to do everything perfectly. After consulting with a psychologist, he learned to delegate tasks and became less tired. Tip: schedule regular breaks and monitor your energy levels. Part 4. How to accept yourself, the Stoic approach. Focus on effort, not results. Seneca said, "The most valuable thing is not the result, but the path to it." Example, Katya, a student, stopped focusing on grades and began to enjoy the process of learning. This helped her cope with anxiety before exams. Tip: praise yourself every day for the effort you put in, even if the result is not perfect. Awareness and acceptance. Marcus Aurelius advised accepting what is beyond our control. This includes our mistakes and imperfections. Example, Nicholas, a photographer, stopped criticizing his work and started using feedback to grow. Tip: practice meditation or write down your thoughts to learn to accept your emotions and fears. Part 5. The balance between aspiration and acceptance. Creating a system. Balance is achieved when we have a system. For example, setting deadlines and boundaries helps to deal with perfectionism. Example, Julia, a designer, started setting deadlines for her projects and did them as well as the deadline allowed, instead of spending months on minor edits. Tip: set time limits for tasks and limit revisions. Lessons in gratitude. Perfectionists often forget to rejoice in what they already have. The Stoics emphasized the importance of gratitude. Example, Andrew, an entrepreneur, began to thank the team for their efforts, even if the result was not always perfect. This improved the atmosphere in the team. Tip: every night, write down 3 things you are grateful for to focus on the positive. Finale: perfectionism under control. Perfectionism can be your friend if you know how to handle it. Remember that balance is key. Strive for the best, but don't forget your limitations. Learn to enjoy the process, not just the outcome. And most importantly, accept yourself for who you are. After all, perfection is not a goal, but a path you walk every day.